Today I'm going to be going over... This lavalier mic looks stupid. Hey, it's Tyler Casey. I'm wearing a lavalier mic, and today we're going to be going over my Gh5 settings, specifically for music videos. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's check out these settings here on the Gh5. Turn this camera on. First thing I usually do is, I'm always on the movie mode right here. So usually I'll actually push that down so it doesn't move at all. So I don't switch over to manual or shutter priority, aperture priority, program auto. You don't want that because your footage is going to look really bad. So now let's go over here to the menu. So we're in the menu. I have exposure set to manual, variable frame rate off. We'll talk more about that in a couple minutes. Anamorphic off. If any of your settings look different, you could go ahead and try and change some of them. So I record in MP4. That's, I think, how you could get the most use out of this camera. We'll go over the record quality in a bit. I have autofocus on. Yeah, I do for this lens, but I'll leave that on, and if I ever want to switch it on, I could just hit that switch right there. See, as I hit the switch, you get more options. So I'm on manual still though. Photo style, let's go into this right here. So right now I'm on Cine D. I have these custom settings built in. You can really film in whatever you like. I like Cine V sometimes because it kind of already has color baked in and it looks pretty good. I would test out these settings that I have punched in right here. So just tap in, or what do? You click, you just tap each one, and then you could change each one to what you want. And then we also have Vlog in there. You have to purchase that separately. I haven't messed with that too much. We'll talk more about that in a bit. And then you have standard, vivid, natural. Standard's good if you're doing more stuff for like business videos and whatnot. But cool, let's go back into the menu. So we have our photo style. What else do we have? I have eye dynamic off, stabilizer. I have E stabilizer off. You don't want that because you get nasty looking footage. What else we got in here? Mic limiter off. I have that. Cool. That's about it on here. How I usually change my settings while shooting music videos. So I usually press this button right here. This is function 2. Boom. And then you get this menu. So actually right here I can change my color settings. So let's say today I want to film the whole music video in, where's it at? Let's do Cine D. Awesome. Now we can go over here. What I usually film right here is 4K 24 frames per second. I would usually film that in 8-bit because the 10-bit files aren't working well, so that's why I haven't been filming vlog. So you can just tap in here and you can 4K 8-bit 24 frames per second. We got Cine D. We're on manual focus. You could tap this right here. Make sure you're in manual. If you're on program, watch this. If you see a P, A, or anything, you're not getting any of these settings down here, so you can't manually set everything. So make sure you're on there. White balance, I just have that set to daylight right now. We could go through. You could change that to whatever you like. So this is where the custom menus come in. So to set our first custom setting, I want 4K slow motion. That's already baked in, so I don't have to slow it down in post. So we can already have the 4K slowed down like with the variable frame rate. So what we do is we're gonna go over here, we're gonna go to variable frame rate. We're gonna turn that on, and then we're gonna set it to 60. And then we're gonna leave all our settings the same. Let's set this to F5, somewhere nice in the middle. We're gonna double our frame rate, so we're gonna change that to 1/20th of a second. And then we're gonna set our white balance to daylight, because maybe we're gonna film mainly daylight scenes. So now we're gonna go back into the menu. We're gonna come down here. We're gonna go to custom menu. And then we're gonna see the button C1. We're gonna press that, we're gonna save that. And now, let's change this back to, let's just change this to 4K 10-bit, right? So we don't have slow motion. Now we can switch over to C1, and look at that, our settings are right there. So now when we record, let's say we do some camera movement, and when we play that back, we're gonna get 4K slow motion. Watch this. Doing a little playback right now. So it's slowed down in 4K. And then when we switch back, we're back at 24 frames per second. so it's easy to click through. Now we're gonna set up, so that's 180 frames per second. So the way we do that is we're gonna go here, we're gonna come into Full HD, 24 frames per second, 8-bit. Then we're gonna come up to variable frame rate, we're gonna turn that on. We're gonna set that all the way to 180, or you could do 120 if you want. I heard the footage might look a little bit cleaner, but I'm gonna do 180. So I'm gonna leave my shutter speed at 200. You should double it, so 180, that would be 360. We could do that, I guess. I don't have shutter angle on, so it won't let me do a perfect half, so I guess we could do 400. And so I'm gonna bump my, see, I have ISO on auto, we don't want that. Let's put that right there, boom. So this is my settings for the 1080 slow motion. Now I'm just gonna come in here, I'm gonna go back down to custom menu settings, and I'm gonna go C2, I'm gonna save that, boom. Now let's do C3, I'm gonna make C3 my autofocus setting because autofocus works the best in 4K 60 frames per second. So I'm just gonna come up here, 4K 60. I'm gonna change my shutter speed to 1/20th of a second. I'm gonna turn my ISO down a little bit because I'll most likely be filming out on sunlight. And that looks pretty good to me. Custom menu, C3. We're gonna save that. Awesome. So now check this out. We're here. Let's say we need some 4K slow motion and we don't want to have to conform it in post. We'll have it already slowed down, but you're not going to have audio. We got C2, that's going to be our super slow motion, 180 frames per second. C3, that's going to be our autofocus setting. So we can have 4K 60 frames per second. We can do performances and have audio, and we can do that. This works really well too. Let's say you want to perform a music video performance, and let's say you want the artist to perform twice as fast. So you want to set your, let's say you want to set your frame rate to 48 frames per second in 4K. You go 4K, 24 frames. You go variable frame rate, we would set it to 48. And then we would just go back down to custom settings. And let's say we set that to C3. Boom. So now when you're filming a music video, you want a performance and you have the song already sped up so they can perform it twice as fast, you just switch over to C3 and you're all set up, ready to go.